Hello and welcome to the last episode of my Pathfinder exploration series. This is going to be the last episode before Beyond drops, and of course, as everyone else, I want to get into Beyond. I want to update my game. I'm so damn hyped for this game. I seriously cannot wait anymore. The wait is killing me, especially now so short before the goal, before the final goal, where all the wait pays off. Of course, during this episode I'd like to talk a little bit about Beyond, what is going to await us. I want to give like a quick summary of what we are going to get as the third pillar, because I think we are, and multiplayer has been discussed enough. Yeah, we've been on this radioactive planet in the end of the last episode. I think there's not so much to say about this planet. The only thing that that was like catching my eye is this desertness of this planet. That in some way you feel you don't belong here. It's just a hostile planet. We're going to get into a ship, and we are going to fly straight into space. And during this last episode, I want to cover as many planets as possible in the half an hour we have. Not sure how many planets have we discovered in the system. 2. And how many planets do we have? We don't know. We have to check the galactic map. But I remember there was this dry world, this ocean dry world. This is going to be an interesting one, no? Yes. Let's waste no time. So, about Beyond. What we're gonna get as the third pillar is a ton of small and big changes. The patch notes for Beyond are going to be twice as long as the ones for Next, which is even hyping me more up than I already am. It's unbearable, actually. Like about 500 bullet points. 500. Before we've had like 250. So the third pillar, the secrecy about the third pillar, has been lifted in several articles, but you won't get a direct answer. It's more like it's, as I said, a summary of some smaller and bigger changes. And from all those news articles, by the way, there's an article of Eurogamer. I'm going to put it in the description. This is the biggest article, in my opinion, where you get the most information out. And there it says what we're gonna get. We're gonna get rideable creatures. We're gonna get milking creatures. What the hell? What the hell is actually going on? Milking creatures. Whose idea was that? Yeah, but why not? Milking creatures, riding creatures, taming creatures. And what we focus on here in this exploration series, planet variety, diversity. In this Eurogamer article, it was mentioned that biomes have been worked on. Yeah, biome density will be increased as well as variety. We haven't seen much in the trailer. I think they have improved a lot on biomes, probably. Or maybe not a lot, maybe not a jump like from Atlas Rises to Next, but it is going to be a subtle change that is going to improve on the planets. Oh man, but look at this world, at this dry world. Pink ground, blue grass, and this beautiful vast ocean with this planet on the horizon. Guys, what a view again, no? What a view. The alienness is still unbeatable, and I highly doubt that Beyond is going to bring all of that back, but at least we are going to get some of it back. And to be honest, I kind of changed my perspective a little bit Because I remember during 1.0 and 1.3, I also got bored out by the game. Not as quickly as of Next, but I got bored out. Despite the variety we've had. Because the game didn't have any features, it didn't have any depth. You cannot do more than just look at things, which is okay for some time. But you know, to keep a game alive, I understand that people need game mechanics to enjoy a game longer. And here we have them again. I'm so happy. This is something I'm happy about, you know? That we don't have those things anymore in the game. Sometimes I'm really happy that the terrain generation, the textures got worked on, you know? Because stuff like that is... It's an immersion killer for me, if you ask me. Do we have any interesting creatures in here? Man, I love this blue ocean. It's like a really nice blue. And we have a zebra, dog, dinosaur, or what? Yeah. Interesting guy. Oh man, look at that ocean. What a nice place again. And again, this dry world is again... It is actually not a dry world. I mean, the landmass is dry for some reason, or empty. But this ocean, man. This is so epic. And each and every planet has been so different from one another during my Pathfinder exploration series. Oh my. Look at that vastness here. And this terrain again. Look at this terrain formation. This is interesting. Gonna step right into this cave. And it seems like that the creatures, or some of the creatures, are actually adjusted to the terrain color a little bit. They have this blue of this grass. And this is a little punk rocker. Oh man. I feel like in Pirates of the Caribbean or something when I walk through ocean caves. And I promised we are going to explore underwater worlds. Okay, this, to be honest, quite reminds me Abyss. But even look at this huge amounts of fish. We've always had that in the game, then they took it out in Next. And then they put it back in, and then they sold that to us as an upgrade. But actually I see the same things. Or even better, and this ocean is actually already quite deep. And look at this interesting formation here. Underwater worlds in No Man's Sky are so relaxing. This is like perfect for meditation. Man, guys, I cannot wait to meditate underwater in Next. Maybe I'm going to start a creative save in Beyond just from meditation, you know. Just being in the ocean and enjoying the atmosphere. Oh, look. Can we go deeper? And this ocean is pretty vast, actually. And it goes even deeper. And all the fish and underwater creatures we got back in Abyss have actually already been in the game before. And what interesting formations we have here. Oh, look how deep this goes. Don't tell me there were no deep oceans in older builds of the game. There were. Abyss is nothing new, guys. Abyss was nothing new. Seriously, they just re-added things they cut out of the game for some reason. This is beautiful. Absolutely relaxing. This is so fun to dive into the deep ocean. Of course, it's not as deep as a real ocean, like 20 kilometers or something, but it is nice with the sunlight, with the God rays in the background, and this terrain formation underwater. Yeah, here we have it a bit buggy again. This is something they luckily got rid of in Next. I hate this stuff. Like, I mean, really, this was bothering me very much since 2016. This has been bothering me all the time. Those little visual bugs that are actually an immersion killer if you are focused very much on visuals. Because the game didn't have anything else but the visuals back then. And look at those nice fishies. Actually, we've got quite some variety between fish. And we found huge amounts of fish also in the ground. Underwater in the ground. Cannot focus anymore because of my hype. And what was I about to say? Yes, I changed my perspective a little bit on how I see the stuff with variety, and we need that Hello Games is working on the visuals. Yes, they do have to do that. No, they don't have to. This is the reality. They don't have to. They can if they want to. We get everything for free. We get a free update. A free update as a project of passion for Hello Games. They're still working on the game because they want to. They don't have to. Economically, they're doing okay. And that's why I thought about it. And the older versions of the game, there's also lots of nostalgia behind it. And this is why we are craving for those versions, because it was like this first time getting into No Man's Sky was mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. Just starting on a planet and you knew there's 18 quintillion other planets to explore. And you could just dive, fly, walk around, find different kinds of creatures, plants. This is a game, the scale has never been there before, you know. And this first time getting into No Man's Sky was an incredible experience. And this experience will never come back, you know. But we shouldn't forget that the older builds of the game came with issues. The variety was better, yes. But it was also... Oh man, look at the water. I love the water. Why have they changed the water in Next? I mean, despite the foam here on the edges, look at the water surface. That looks so nice, actually. It looks so realistic. Yeah, and anyway, there was more variety. There used to be more variety. But the question is, how long can that keep you entertained, actually? Well, it entertained me for about 600 hours pre-Next. I think I put like 600 hours into the game. But the majority of players is in need of features. And I perfectly understand that. Because not everyone can be as crazy as I am. I mean, it's understandable that people don't get satisfaction out of just walking around and looking at things. You actually want to be busy. You want to have a purpose. And Beyond is going to give that to us. And I think that the new features which are inbound might actually motivate me to try out new things like base building. I've never been a big base builder, but there's some interesting stuff that has been mentioned, like they added some kind of logic, making probably anything possible. like in Minecraft, the redstones. I mean, I'm just now talking about Minecraft, but I have no idea about Minecraft. I've never played Minecraft. I just read about it. That you could compare the logic to those redstones. And I'm still fascinated how different this planet is from all the other dry worlds we've seen. Feels completely different. And the ocean was vast, deep and rich. And there's features we're going to get. If they have enough depth, you know, and when there's enough cohesiveness in all of that, maybe the features will help us to get over the variety issue. Because this, let's stay realistic, the variety issue is always going to be in the game, and people always claim Rayrod did this, Rayrod did that. Guys, I'm not so sure. I mean, I've tried out the Rayrod overhaul. He's an amazing modder. He's incredibly talented and probably highly gifted, you know, but still, there are lots of repetitive elements in the Rayrod overhaul, and I also got bored out of that because it came with lots of issues. And there's a reason why Hello Games made No Man's Sky the way they did, you know, because it also has to run stable, you know. Has to run stable, it has to run on several platforms, not only on high-end PCs, you know. And the versions we get is always like a compromise for features and visuals that run on every platform, you know. Perfectly understandable. And Rayrod, as I said, he's incredibly talented probably, and I have no idea about programming, man. His mind is so much bigger than my mind is. I know that sounds harsh, you know? But still, when Rayrod is doing something and when Hello Games is doing something with the game, it still feels different, you know? You feel when Hello Games is implementing something or working on visuals, it's balanced, you know? It's balanced, it just works, you know what I mean? And in Rayrod's overhaul, sometimes stuff is a bit maybe over the top, the game is crashing, and some elements are also very repetitive, for example the waving seagrass, and you would also get tired of that, you know? Just this infinite variety thing is impossible. It is, nowadays it's still impossible. It is a game. Stuff has to be predefined at some point for the gameplay loop. And I think that modding is overrated. It never feels as good as when the developer is implementing something. You know, implementing something with good thought and care and with really professionals, you know. And I trust in Hello Games. You know, I trust in Hello Games that No Man's Sky is going to be fixed with Beyond. The mistakes they did in Next, they're going to be fixed, definitely. Because over time, they added many, like, half-assed features, like very superficial stuff with no depth, after all, and nothing was cohesive in some way. It's just they were throwing a bunch of stuff in the pot and then just, you know, and then baking a cake out of it with ingredients that didn't work very well with each other, maybe. Or it didn't fit, you know, there was something missing. And it's like you try to make a cake without baking powder, you know, and now they're going to add the baking powder so that the cake becomes nice and fluffy, you know. I don't know if the things I say make lots of sense. I think I'm talking very much out of context. But we're going to fly to the next system, guys, because, as I said, I want to see as much as possible in this last episode. And I'm not going to talk so much maybe about the planets, because Beyond is the topic we need to talk about. Beyond is inbound. I can't wait to get into Beyond with my headset. With my headset on, and being immersed as never before. Could this be a lush planet or a barren planet? I think it's a lush planet because you see lots of clouds. Yeah, again, creature riding, creature milking, probably improved AI because of the riding thing, you know. They added, I read in several articles, new kinds of creatures, fauna and flora got improved, more biome density, more biome variety. Man, guys, we are all gonna get everything we've ever wanted, probably. I mean, okay, that was exaggerated, I'm overhyping now, yeah, but I think they tried to touch every suggestion and every bug report and every wish the community has had over time. I think they are working on it. You know, maybe you've sent a suggestion to Sandesk or something, and I'm pretty sure they looked into it. And maybe you're gonna find your suggestion in Beyond. Actually, I was suggesting something about changing or improving the word system. I don't know if it's because of me, you know, but I'd like to think that. You know, I was suggesting, for example, that they add like dictionaries that you could buy for nanites, so that you have another nanite sync, because once you're fully upgraded, nanites become pretty useless. And we have again a nice light blue lush planet. But to be honest, now I think we are at the point where we also have to end the series because stuff becomes repetitive now. Now I see some elements which are repeating, you know. We've seen this light blue grass, we've seen those trees, and we've seen this kind of terrain. I think the wow effect is slowly getting more silent, and that's okay. That's okay. Because first, it's nice to look at things, and you can do that for hours and hours and hours, you know, especially to relax after a hard working day. But at some point, maybe you need stuff to do. I don't know. Me not, maybe, but many others. And I perfectly understand that. And if the new features are going to have enough depth and cohesiveness, then I think there's actually no reason not to embrace the new features. Instead of complaining, oh, I didn't want more base building, I just wanted more variety. You know, stop the complaining. I think we all should stop complaining. This is going to be a free update, it's going to be huge, and it's going to be VR! If you haven't gotten a VR headset now, don't worry. The third pillar of the update is going to have something in store for you as well. Because the improvements they needed to do to implement the full multiplayer and VR are going to be a benefit for all kinds of players. For example, fucking cockpit perspective. Perspective for vehicles. Amazing. This is something I've wished for since vehicles got introduced. Will be so much more immersive. You cannot imagine. This is going to add so much to the game. And No Man's Sky is like this... I don't know. Is there something No Man's Sky can't do? Now that you can mount creatures, tame creatures, build bases with logic inside, you know. Meet up with other people, walking on every planet, flying through space. A boundless game. You can cook stuff and deliver that. You're going to be able to cook stuff with the milk and some other ingredients, and you can sell that stuff. If you want, you can grieve other players, you can kill others, you can meet each other in an arena and shoot at each other if you want to do that, you know? You can do anything in No Man's Sky, and this is... I think people don't cherish that enough, you know? That Beyond is going to have something in store for every kind of player. I'm very sure about that. Very nice planet again. But nothing that seems to be very new to me. I've seen this grass. Also in maybe almost exactly that combination. We've seen all the assets by now. Though it's beautiful. It's beautiful every time. Every time it is beautiful. And I really hope... Man, guys, could you imagine if we get back rainbow grass in Beyond? I mean, they've obviously worked on the colors. You could see in the trailer, light is much brighter. Much brighter than before, again. I think they fixed this gloominess issue. Maybe they also fixed this ugly upper cloud layer, blocking too much sunlight, and then I could definitely see that vibrancy is back in the game. And there was this small cut where you could see pink grass. Pink grass, guys. Pink grass is going to make a comeback in No Man's Sky Beyond. Pink grass, guys. Pink grass! You get it? Pink grass! Another dry world. Scorched world. Where are the other planets? I think there were 5 planets, no? 1? 2? Ah, this one. This is a frozen world. Should we visit another frozen world? Yes, I think we should visit another frozen world. So far, I think this is going to be our 3rd frozen world, if I remember that correctly. And it's interesting to visit the same planet types again. I mean, another planet, of course, but the same planet type, to show the variety of the older builds of the game. What I realized is when I play multiplayer with my buddy, like Permadeath, for example, man, we are having a blast. It's so much fun when you play with a good friend. You gotta admit that. Even if you say you're a lone wolf and that stuff, really look for someone to play it with. You really forget about the missing variety. You're gonna have so much fun. I have so much fun with him. I mean, just talking about stuff and while doing No Man's Sky stuff. I mean, how awesome is that actually? And we help each other, you know? When he's in need of help, I just fly towards him and we support each other, and it's so much fun. This social experience, never thought it would be, but recently I started a permadeath run with my buddy, multiplayer, and it's so amazing, the multiplayer experience. Well, with my wife it wasn't. We've tried it as well, but she's only doing her own stuff, and once I accidentally stole a treasure from her. I mean, we were both digging it out at the same time and I was first. And then she was mad at me, and then since then we haven't played together again. Yeah, no, it's not serious, of course, but... Oh man, look at this beautiful frozen world. Look at this beautiful, beautiful leaves here. With those... Look at this detailed grass. Has anyone ever cherished that? Look at the details. And so far I think we haven't seen those trees. Haven't we? No, we haven't. We haven't seen those trees. It's pretty dense frozen forests. And floating islands. Not a fan of floating islands because I'm a fan of cohesive terrain generation. I mean, doesn't mean that terrain shouldn't be crazy, but it also should make in some way like a little bit of sense, like that it's believable, you know? How would that work, a floating island? I mean, it looks cool the first time, but how would it work? Maybe it's something about magnetism? Maybe someone wants to tell me in the comments how a floating island would work on a planet which has obviously gravity. Yeah, it's a nice frozen world, and it is different from all the frozen worlds we've seen so far, which is to be expected from the older versions of the game. Thick grass patches, yummy. Yeah, you see, there's quite some variety. I mean, of course, stuff is repeating now, yeah. I mean, there is this one kind of tree we've seen before, but that's also to be expected. I mean, I want to be fair, you know, I want to make a fair analysis of... This almost looks like ice, you know, because of this foam bug. I call it a bug because it's definitely not how they intended the water should look like. But here it's quite fitting. It's like water that is about to freeze. Like, you know, there's already like ice, a very thin ice layer on the top, but when I go inside, it's broken. Yeah, this is a nice planet also. And we are going to load the last save to get back into our ship and jump to another planet. Sorry that I'm in a bit of a hurry, but in some way I want to get back to next now, because in order to prepare for Beyond. And in some way I'm like trapped in Pathfinder now, because there's actually quite some people that want to play online with me, and I can't, because I'm stuck with this dead old version of the game. It has nice visuals, but there's not much more you can do. I accept defeat. My wife wins. No, of course not. I still believe in the visuals of Pathfinder. I find them amazing. The older versions of the game were much more varied. There was much more diversity. This is something you have to admit, that Next is way too repetitive and muted. And the features of Next are half-assed. They have no depth. But if those features get the depth they need and cohesiveness in everything, I mean, like from the start to the end, like maybe also they're going to add a little bit of an end game or something, a proper end game loop. Maybe they're going to add loot as well, because Sean mentioned that you can show off your unique armor that you found or something, or your unique spacesuit. Maybe we can find like stuff with special stats or something. That would be amazing. Like a kind of a Diablo thing, you know. You fight a sentinel, you find a walker, and he can lose stuff you can collect. Like a spacesuit or a nice multi-tool, maybe. That would be nice, no? And then you could go like bounty hunting. Loot hunting. Farming. I quite enjoyed farming in Diablo. And farming in space? That would be amazing. Like farming for loot. That would give me a blast. So what do we have here? What kind of world is that? It's another dry world. And again, completely different from all the other dry worlds we've seen. A new kind of tree we haven't seen, haven't we? And there seems to be those fertile patches in there again. But otherwise this planet is quite barren. And here this thing, this is so repetitive. This is on kind of every dry world. On every dry world, no? I've seen that everywhere. Every time now I land on a dry planet. So we have to be fair. Stuff gets repetitive in this version of the game as well. Maybe not as quickly as in next, but it also gets repetitive. And then what you gonna do? When you've seen it all, what you gonna do? I like this flat area here. And this is why you need game mechanics, you know? Because everything gets old after a while. It's impossible to add infinite variety. And no, don't tell me Railroad, because it's not true. It is not infinite variety in Railroad's Overhaul. I don't believe in that, to be honest. I'm skeptical. I'm sorry I'm skeptical. I know everyone loves Railroad. I love him as well, and I think he has done a tremendous job in modding. But still, it doesn't compare with the work Hello Games is putting into the game. Because it's when Hello Games is implementing something, it's well thought through, and it's like round, you know, in the end. And it runs on every platform. And so far the footage I've seen of Railroad's Overhaul, he has put tremendous work into it. Stuff looks a bit too Earth-like for me. Still, No Man's Sky looks more alien than Railroad's Overhaul, actually. And the alienness is something that is very important for me. To feel that I don't belong to a place. And look at the terrain. I love this terrain. Amazing. Maybe they tweaked also terrain a little bit in Beyond. We don't know yet. Oh, look at that terrain formation. Look. This is so interesting. I hope we get sites like that back in Beyond. Would be amazing. But let's see what Beyond brings, and as I already mentioned, as every little app you play in VR is amazing, which would be total crap on a flat screen, I think that No Man's Sky Beyond is going to be amazing in VR anyway. Even if they wouldn't have improved on variety. Look at the terrain. This is so interesting. Bumpy terrain. Like, feels like a foreign planet. Especially this year. This erosion, or I don't know. Amazing stuff. And we are going to walk back there. And also those stalagmites. This model is slightly different. At least the colors. Look at that, man. This looks amazing. Amazing, guys. Amazing. Really, I cross my fingers for the vibrancy to come back, and I really hope that they're going to tremendously improve on variety in Beyond. And if they don't, I'm also totally fine, because it's a free update and we get lots of fun stuff to do. So you have to change your perspective, you know? Get back from the old version of the game and just enjoy the features, you know? Try to open yourself up and try out the new things, you know? I never thought I would be a multiplayer guy, but a few weeks ago started a playthrough with my buddy in permadeath, and it's so fun every time we play. So fun. And here I have to say it again, enjoy the alienness of No Man's Sky Pathfinder. Because seriously, this is an alien planet. Look at that. Mushroom rock formation. Simply awesome. And look at this cave entrance. Man, what a color combination in here. Oh god, maybe I don't want to stop. Maybe I'm not going to end this series. Oh guys, I think we are too long. We are too long in. Forgot to set a timer again. Interesting cave. Interesting cave. What is that? Oh, Emerald! Oh, nostalgia, nostalgia. Emerald. Amazing planet. What a surprise. Feels so foreign. With this nice sky. Nice terrain. And a nice transition between horizon and sky, as always. I think this is like a cavey planet also, where you find some nice cave entrances. Ouch. But we're gonna explore one more world. We're gonna explore one more world, guys. We have to explore one more world before we end this series. Awesome. Especially this part here. It's very interesting. Every time I forget to set a timer. Every damn time. One more planet. The last planet we are going to explore. In Pathfinder, random planet hopping. Kind of shed a tear now. This is the end. But it is also the beginning. What are we going to? Another dry world? Another hot world? And this was the... yeah, we already discovered that one. Okay, yeah, I think we gotta explore a hot world. Yeah, let's do this, guys. Another hot world, because we just haven't seen one. We have seen one hot world, one scorched world. Man, can you imagine all the things, all the crazy things people are going to create and beyond with the new logic system? I mean, Hello Games was mentioning that, Sean was mentioning that Hello Games, that some people in the studio while playtesting were building actually Rocket League on a moon. How crazy is that? So, seems to be like kind of limitless or something. I think I'm going to experiment around when Beyond drops. But first of all, I just want to enjoy VR. You know, like really just walking around. This is going to be an incredible experience. And if you haven't gotten a VR headset yet, please do yourself a favor and do it. Really, it's not that unaffordable if you are a working person, you know? Get a used one, but really get one. Definitely, if you have a PlayStation 4 Pro, that's already enough. Just get the PSVR headset, get it used. Friend of mine got it with some games and the Move controllers and all for $200. And when you already have the console at home, $200, come on. Invest in this. Because it adds so much. It's so immersive. What is not likable about VR? Yeah, motion sickness, I know. But you get used to that. I also got very sick in the beginning, very, very sick. But just make a few short play sessions and you're already going to be used to it. I don't get sick at all anymore. I can do any kind of movement in game now. And I never thought that I would come to that point. Oh, a nice purple scorched world. Also very different from the one we've seen. Despite the flora, which is kind of always the same on scorched worlds. but it is a nice scorched world. I mean, the terrain color is quite nice. But not too much to say about the terrain, no? It's, again, pretty flat. Some hills in the background. But the purple here is the specialty of this planet. The purple terrain. And the foggy distance. So guys, thank you so much for being on this journey with me. This is my first experience on YouTube, so bear with me if it wasn't perfect, especially the timing of the episodes was always strange and episodes were too long and stuff, you know. But I plan on creating more content, you know, maybe a little beyond review. And yeah, what can I say? A summary? You want a summary, a conclusion of all this? The conclusion for me is visual variety is so much better in older versions of the game, but it is on the cost of cohesiveness. It is on the cost of a bug-free experience. And still a lack of features, which I don't need so urgently like others, but I perfectly understand that people need it. And I can't wait what Beyond has in store for us. From what I've read in the articles, it sounds absolutely amazing. It sounds like so much fun. And guys, I cannot wait to get my hands on Beyond. I think that's understandable because everyone is pretty much hyped. It's going to be a free update, so don't complain if it doesn't contain everything you wished for. It is the 9th major update to the game. I mean, for me it's like the 5th, because for me it's Foundation, Pathfinder, Atlas Rises, Next, and now Beyond. Those Visions and Abyss doesn't count for me, you know. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and see you next time. I'm out.